Welcome to Season 4 of You're Not Alone with Townsend. On this podcast, I'll be sitting down with guests from all over the world to discuss everything under the umbrella of mental health, diagnoses, sharing stories of resilience, medical advice, and even getting some tips and tricks from licensed counselors. The goal of this podcast is to teach us how to understand others, ourselves, and help spread love and light, one episode at a time. Please make sure to like and follow this podcast, and if you'd like to see the videos of these conversations, hop on over to my YouTube channel, TownsendTmusic YouTube, where you can find the podcast and my latest music. This podcast is run solely by supporters and listeners just like you. So if you'd like to help keep this podcast and project going, please consider hopping on patreon.com/TownsendTmusic to be part of the team. You'll also find extra content and questions with each and every guest. Let's hop in. What is up, everybody? It is your host, Townsend. Welcome to this week of You're Not Alone with Townsend. I am so excited. We've got a whole crew. If you're watching the video, we got Jesse, we got Holly, we got this cutie patootie Bedford, who we're going to be talking about today. Can you say hi?
Say hi.
There we go. He hopped on earlier, was acting a little bit shy, but he knows we're here for him. We're literally going to be chit-chatting about him the whole time. Jesse and Holly, thank you so much for joining us.
You bet.
Yeah. So let's start off with introducing you guys and what you'd like people to know about y'all. So what do you do for a living? Where are you guys located? Just whatever you'd like to share with my listeners.
Sure. So we are in Illinois, a little south Chicago. I wear a few different hats, but we have our own company or a few companies. I run those mostly.
Now, a quick shout out to
I
our
used
sponsors.
to be in education. I did a little bit of admin work as well. And then once we got Bedford's diagnosis, it was evident that I needed to step away just for the foreseeable future because we're not sure what necessarily life is going to look like. So It's been nice to have the freedom to be able to be more present with him as well.
I love it. Absolutely. So you stay at home with your kid. How many kids do you have?
We have two. He has an older brother who is about to turn 4. So
Okay. So do you stay home with Bedford all day?
Does
he go to a program?
He does daycare a few times a week, so I can get some work done and go to appointments. But yes, usually I'm with him all day.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that looked like, which we'll hop into that in just a little bit. How old is Bedford?
He is 2.5.
2.5? Oh, I was going to guess 7. I'm just so
7?
big.
You are 7?
He said, yeah, duh, of course. Absolutely. Driving already. Okay, so let's hop in. What your diagnosis, this one is another one that's like 27 consonants long. Schwartz Jampel syndrome. Is that how you pronounce it? Jampel?
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, Jampel. Yep.
Schwartz Jampel syndrome. So can you define that for us? What even is that?
Yeah. So it was something we knew nothing about until we had Bedford.
Yeah.
It's a genetic syndrome. So it's genetic related. And it shows up in a couple different ways, which we can dive into, but in general, it has to do with the bone growth, and then also a lot of muscle stiffness and tension.
Okay. So you posted a lot of your posts that I saw. He has trouble walking, like he's using a little walker. Is that the muscle movement and stiffness you're talking about? Yeah.
So the reason we found out or got more testing rather to figure out what was going on with him is Holly took him to a pediatric appointment, and our pediatric doctor just a regular check-in, and she noticed he was having some issues walking, and so we went up to
she thought it was just ortho. Let's get in some braces, that type of thing. And then when we went to the orthopedic doctor, immediately she was like, this is something deeper. Let me take you to the next level. We need to get you into genetics, which obviously we were like, okay, we thought that he just had a waddle. So that really kickstarted everything.
And the orthopedic doctor did an X-ray, and you can see pretty clearly that. And as soon as she showed us, like we were like, "Oh no," because his legs are very
they
bowed.
bow a little bit.
Like you can tell when you see the X-ray that something's not quite right. So then we went to genetics, and they had to do full genetic makeup for him, Holly, and me.
Oh, okay.
And that took
It took about 3 months. Like I think I messaged them probably every few weeks. Like, are they back yet? Are they back yet?
Yeah, as a mom or just as a parent, I would be like constantly stressing over that.
It was challenging for the waiting was challenging alone. So they gave us, we finally got a call, and basically this is a genetic syndrome that is extremely rare. There are only about 1,000 confirmed cases globally since the 1960s.
Wow.
So it's very, very rare. They do think there's probably more than that, but that are undocumented, but documented there's like 1,000.
Sure.
And that's over a long period of time, obviously. So that was some shock for us. And they started to try to explain that, and we heard some of it and didn't hear other parts of it because we were just like reeling and trying to figure out what we were being told, right? And for me as an analytical person, it wasn't so much the physical stuff that we were going to have to deal with, so much as like just the sheer numbers of rarity. I'm like, how does this even happen? Basically, what happens is that it's a super rare recessive gene, and both parents have to have it. And so we were like, at first, like, well, should we get our other son checked out? Should we tell our siblings? And they're like, well, you can, but the chances that they married somebody or having kids with somebody that also have that super rare recessive gene are about zero. So they probably don't need to worry.
Okay. Well, so it's just like drawn out of a hat and just surprise.
Right.
You both have. Okay.
Yep.
So I find it interesting that it wasn't noticeable immediately because you've posted about how facial features kind of show that stiffness and rigid. So you couldn't tell. Looking back, do you feel like, okay, there was something a little off immediately?
There was.
Okay.
So when he was a baby, I don't know when it first started.
It was probably a few months. I mean, he looked like a normal baby, behaved like a normal baby, but probably like 2 or 3 months old. Everyone would always comment on his eyebrows because they're always like this.
He's just surprised all
And
the
we
time.
were like, oh, he's just an expressive baby. Like someday he'll be a lawyer and no one will ever know what he's thinking because is he mad? Is he happy? Is he surprised?
And then we had the baby cam over his crib, and we started to notice, like, even while he's sleeping, his eyebrows are still raised, which we thought was odd, but
like never relaxed.
But we didn't think much of it.
Yeah.
And that was the first showcasing of the muscle kind of tension that's going on.
Okay. So you notice that looking back, but the waddling, the walking was kind of your first.
Waddling is hard because they grip the floor to be steady. So like toddlers, when they're figuring out how to walk, waddle. So we were like, it's cute, it's funny. And then that's when the pediatrician referred us to ortho, and then ortho was like, no, this is more. So simply put, his internal and external hip flexors do not allow for movement. So they thought his ear bowed out, we need to bring them in, but we can't bring them in with a brace because the hip flexors don't allow for them to come in. So
it'd like pop his little hip out of place.
Yeah, that's what it feels like it would do. Yes.
Yeah.
So Hyper is trying to move his legs apart. Even he resists. They said he probably feels like he is a constant Charlie horse, which stinks for us as parents. But if he doesn't know any different, then that also is his norm. So,
wow. So typically, what are the first signs and symptoms? Like, is what you're explaining pretty stereotypical?
Yeah, you said it showcases around 2, which would track for.
And we've seen some pictures of some other children now. The facial features are definitely a thing, though we've seen at least one that maybe has a not as serious case of it, maybe that doesn't quite look that way. Mm-hmm. But the legs are the other one. And then there's a bunch of other symptoms that may or may not showcase, and it gets pretty interesting. Like, so Number one, if you look at his back, like it's very tight. He looks like a bodybuilder is what my
He looks
wife
like he's
says.
flexing. He has a six pack. His back looks like he's worked his traps every day of his life.
So I'm like a little jealous, more
He's
more
like,
fit
Dad,
personal.
look.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of teeth are bones, so there's a lot of mouth related issues.
Okay.
We had our first dentist appointment 2 months ago, which was very, very challenging. But their mouths are smaller, and so the teeth actually grow inward. So if you look in his mouth, you can kind of see them like growing into the mouth.
Sure.
So there's less room in there, and there's a couple different issues with that has to be resolved, especially as he goes to get his adult teeth and things like that. The walking is a big part of it. And then it seems like different cases have different things. Like there's another boy that we did end up meeting or we're going to meet in person soon, that also has some bone related issues in his arms, though Bedford doesn't seem to quite have that. I don't think there's anything else in particular.
Does it?
There could be
His vision, the boy that we're
Okay.
going to meet in a few weeks, his first surgery, I think, was when he was 2 on his eyes. So we might be looking at external surgery.
for his eyelids.
But we did also see an eye doctor already, which it's so hard to do these appointments because they're so little. But so dilating 8-year-old's eyes is probably nothing I ever want to do again. But
I don't want to dilate my own eyes, and I know
Yeah.
what's coming. So is it because
they said
the eye?
he's good for now, but
Yeah. So is it the vision? You mentioned eyelids. Are they not shutting because they're so tense?
Yeah, so actually what happens is that the eyebrow thing, that's over time the muscles actually degrade because of that. And so there are some people that have this where their eyelids like start to
droop over
they can't open them
all the way.
like they should be able to. And
Yeah.
there's some eye issues that some of them face.
Does
That's not a
it
problem yet, but
does it affect you? We've mentioned a lot of physical things. Does it affect cognition at all or developmentally?
In our experience, no. He is sharp. He is sassy. He is.
I love it.
I think every parent thinks their kid is smart. He's smart. But we have not seen cognitive at all. It's purely mobility, which has been a weird thing to process because most intervention type help, or like in my experience, like if you're looking at an IEP in the classroom, usually there's a cognitive element to it, which obviously Bedford doesn't have. It's purely mobility. So that'll be a unique thing, because when we've talked with the government services, we have to say like he doesn't need speech, he doesn't need these specialties, he really just needs like physical therapy, occupational therapy. So
Right. Yeah, that is interesting. Now you had mentioned the mouth and the teeth. Have you seen any challenges with eating or feeding, swallowing?
So there are other cases that we've read about where, like during COVID, most of them weren't afraid to get COVID. They were afraid to go to the hospital and get a breathing tube.
Oh, goodness.
They do have some trouble like swallowing and whatnot. So that was like a big thing that we kind of just saw in retrospect. Some of them do have trouble swallowing. I think Bedford hasn't really showcased that at this point, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's great. I mean, to be that age and not show any of those, it's kind of a blessing to be that far. You know, I mean, he could have a lot more stuff going on. What is, you were talking about therapies. Is there a cure? Do you guys, what does treatment look like? Like, is there medication? Do you just go to therapy forever? What does that journey look like? If you're looking to buy or sell, I have the perfect realty company for you. Clark & Co. Realty is located in the Benton, Bryant, Arkansas area. And they understand that buying or selling a home is more than just a transaction. It's a life-changing experience. That's why their team of highly seasoned real estate professionals is dedicated to providing exceptional, personalized services for all their clients. They truly take great pride in the relationships they build, and they always work relentlessly on the client's behalf to help them achieve their perfect real estate goals. They always have the client in mind, and I can speak firsthand when I say how reliable, trustworthy, and quick they were. When I was looking to buy my first home, they were there with me every step of the way, answering every question I could think of. They showed me a great amount of knowledge and patience through the process. It's no wonder they've won so many awards for their outstanding services and their excellent relationships with clients. So if you're looking to buy or sell, there is no better option than Clark & Co. Realty.
So yeah, we found out about this in September or late August, maybe. You can hear our kids in the background.
That's okay.
They were pretty adamant with us at the beginning that this is progressive and permanent.
Okay.
There is no cure. I remember when she was giving us the diagnosis, she was very nice, but she said it like 3 or 4 times on the phone, because I have learned afterwards, like a lot of parents don't hear that.
Sure. Understandable. Yeah. Kind of
we had that problem.
So not to interrupt you, when they say progressive, does this diagnosis get worse as it gets? Okay.
So, and it's been kind of a roller coaster. So the walker was the first step. We actually we asked for it earlier because of the other child that we'd met or started to talk to his family. They waited on the walker until he was in kindergarten, I think. And they said that was a regret of theirs, that they wish they would have helped him learn how to use it before going to school. And so we pushed for that. So like, if you've seen our TikTok videos, like there are videos where he walks just fine. Well, not just fine. He can get around without it. He does try to get around without it. But over time, we've noticed already, he falls more.
Okay.
He has a harder time some days than others. We have had days where he says, I guess he was this is more in the winter time, but his legs would just kind of bend up and he just wouldn't walk at all. We couldn't get him to do it. Couldn't get him to stand. The other family told us that the winter is extra hard on them.
Okay.
And so that's around when we experienced that, and we haven't experienced that in the summer, so it could be a seasonal thing. We also know that, again, the other family, he was in a wheelchair for a period of time. He's had to have the other child has had to have a lot of surgeries, and can now walk.
Okay.
But it took a lot of work.
Yeah, sure.
So it is progressive, and I think there are some things that we could do surgically that might help that. The other boy's only 17 or 18 now, so we're just not sure, like, what does longer life look like for that, regardless of surgeries or not. So yeah, it's progressive. It will get worse. The mouth stuff gets worse for sure. We know the eye stuff can get worse, and the walking can degrade.
Interesting. Okay. So they didn't tell you anything about like life expectancy. They may not even really know with so little cases.
There is nothing proven on the life expectancy. There are people that we have found, like on a Facebook group, that are like in their 50s that were diagnosed much later, and we're not sure like how severe their case is. It's actually a really weird thing. So we kind of forgot about this from the initial consultation they gave us when we found out that our most recent genetic appointment, they reminded us that, so there's like a string of genetic code. And if you have something different in that line of code, that means you have this Schwartz-Jampel syndrome. They said to us, Bedford specifically is actually unique. We don't have any on record the way his is. Okay. And so that might mean other things, and it might not mean other things. We just don't have any clue.
Okay. Man.
Our hospital system, though, it has been really good. Wonderful. I mean, they've admitted to us that they have never seen this in their system before.
Wow. So. What a special kid. That's wild. A good and a bad thing. You're kind of like, okay. It's like some of that, I am sure as a parent, is terrifying. Which, again, this is why I do the podcast. I've had some diagnoses, this being one that I've never heard of. And I know there are people out there that want more connection, like the people that you've met through Facebook and groups. And I think it's so cool that things like this and TikTok can help get a community and meet other people like that, which is just so wonderful. What do you wish people knew about this diagnosis? I mean, I know you guys are like, we don't have a ton of details, but what do you wish people did know?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say just bringing awareness to Schwartz Jampel because it is so specific to him. The first TikTok that I had that to this day is still getting comments on was when I put Bedford on the playground and just said that I wanted equipment that he could also participate in.
Yes.
And people kind of either loved that or hated it.
Wow.
But more so that looking at Bedford, you might be able to tell that something is off. But just that there are so many rare diseases that don't necessarily showcase themselves in obvious ways. So again, if you were to be at the park with me with Bedford, you might think that he is just a baby figuring out how to walk. You don't know that he legitimately can't walk on like regular mulch or do things by himself, or if I'm hovering over him to make sure that he doesn't misstep. I'm not just a mom next to her kid figuring out how to walk.
Like a helicopter mom.
Yeah. So it's like just to be mindful. Like I know parents always want to teach their kids to like be understanding and be aware that everyone's battling something. So I think in raising awareness for rare diseases, like if you go to that hashtag, there are so many people that have a rare something or another. So just to be gracious and be understanding, which I wouldn't say that we have been met with ungracious or not gracious people, but just, I don't know, to make the world a better place, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. So let's go back to you had nodded your head, but for the people listening to the audio, there is no cure. But as far as therapy goes, like that 17, 18-year-old, are they still doing therapy daily? Is that something that you'll continue to physical?
Yeah. So I skipped over this. So we got him into an early intervention program with a occupational therapist and a physical therapist who are wonderfully amazing ladies. Thanks. They are perfect. They have been bringing him to the pool locally, not really doing real serious physical therapy because that actually might hurt him more than it's not going to help him. It might hurt him. The pool specifically, they said, we don't really know, but it might relieve some of that
pool
tension.
So it's warm
for while he's doing it. And so they've been kind of working with him in the pool.
She does myofascial when he allows her to. She does myofascial massages on him. And then the occupational therapist with him will have like cups or little balls or little animals. And she did tell me last week that, or this past week, that he was pretty resistant to let the physical therapist touch him. I think this week was a bad pain week. But when the occupational therapist was able to be in front of him to kind of distract him with an object and reassure him like, hey, I'm here, then he allowed her to kind of manipulate his hips and his back a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be therapeutic in the sense that it might relieve him of some pain. He loves it. He loves being in that pool with them. He's not sure how he feels about water outside of.
He said they're two pretty ladies and we're swimming. I'm going.
But yeah, he loves it. He when I walk in after the hour's over with, he lights up, wants to tell me everything that he did in the water with them, let me know his hands are so pruny.
Yeah.
So it's been fun to watch that, but it's not like he's learning how to swim necessarily, and it's not like it's growing him leaps and bounds beyond providing some relief.
Okay. So it's kind of just like muscle management and helping that pain management. Okay. That makes sense. Absolutely.
He won't really continue. As far as we know, he will not continue to do physical therapy beyond that.
Okay.
Because his doctors are fearful that it might actually cause him more pain. You also mentioned, I think, medication earlier.
Yeah.
So we have started him on a muscle relaxer called baclofen.
Which is common that I've seen in my research and like exposure on social media. Some older kids who have different but similar mobility things, they have a baclofen pump where you can control obviously we're not at that point yet. I was a little bit hesitant with the muscle relaxer because he's 2.
Yeah,
right.
But it is very low dose, and we do not see necessarily like, wow, this is working.
Yeah.
His temperament might be slightly better, but when I said that to the physical therapist, she said that she could tell
Oh, okay.
based on his muscle. Like she said, no, I absolutely could tell with his resistance and his ability to hinge. So I think maybe Jesse has spoke about this when I wasn't around, but because he doesn't hinge at the hip, it makes carrying him very hard. So he doesn't straddle my side the way a toddler typically would. He kind of is like stiff as a board. And when we have used the baclofen, we have noticed that he is, I would say, like 75% better at the straddling aspect. It's not like a normal child, but he'll still be able to bend a little bit. So much so that last week, when we got home, I rushed him to the toilet to see if I could put him on the toilet because he was bending in such a position. I was like, yes, finally.
This is it.
And then the next day it didn't work. So it's kind of where we're at. Where like one day it's like, yes, let me cry tears of joy that here this late. And then it's like, just kidding. But that is encouraging that maybe, and I messaged his genetics counselor that maybe we need to up it. This is clearly a step in the right direction for hinging at the hip.
Yeah.
So
let me dive more into that. So that's something that I feel like listeners, even myself, wouldn't even think about having trouble with. I mean, carrying your baby on your hip, you don't think about he's stiff as a board. You can't do that. Sitting on a commode, sitting in a chair might be difficult. What are a couple of things that you find or like going to the restroom? How does that work for you if he's not able to sit on the commode? Is there a catheter? Is it just you kind of have to figure your way out?
I don't know. That's why honestly, with stuff like that, that's why I reached out to the TikTok community.
Okay.
Actually, I created an Instagram really to kind of bypass every time I go anywhere, someone's asking me about Bedford. He's way more popular than I have ever been in my whole life.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was saying the same thing. So I was like, I'll just make a public page where people can stay updated. But TikTok, I feel like obviously a broader community, hopeful that maybe someone dealt with something similar. Like, what are you doing for the bathroom when you're approaching potty training years? Because that also is something that's heavy on my mind. He can't start school until he's potty trained, and he can't start for another year. So we have time, but just trying to figure that out. And we have no solutions thus far. We're kind of just like crossing our fingers that the muscle relaxer will eventually allow for it. Because I genuinely don't know how it's going to work. People jokingly have said, put him in a high chair and cut a hole in the bottom of the high chair.
Yeah.
Because the high chair locks you in.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's not there mentally, I don't think, anyway, because he doesn't understand. But maybe once he's there mentally and he can like cognitively process at that right age, like this is where I go to the bathroom, then maybe we can like coerce him into trying a little bit more. But right now he's like, what are you doing? Why
are we here? What are we? Even changing a diaper, I imagine that'd be really difficult because you pick the feet up and you bend them and they're just like little floppy things. I imagine even that's difficult.
I won't get too detailed, but I will tell you that even just yesterday, I was like, man, I can't change your diaper, wipe your butt.
Yeah, everything's dirty. Yeah, I can imagine.
It's very hard. I mean, the other big thing, the first huge challenge that we didn't see coming was his car seat in the car.
Oh yeah, see that? Like I wouldn't even think about it.
Correctly, we had to up him to a car seat for an older child way too early in order to even get the seatbelt to fully buckle.
Wow.
That was a weird one. Just in general, like if you go look at him sitting on the couch right now, like it's
an obtuse
like that.
Yeah.
Like
120 degrees.
Like it's just he doesn't really sit. He can't sit on like a little stool or like those little kid couches. He can't really sit on those. So there's just like all those little things. I
feel like that'd be so exhausting for him.
It is.
You're either laying or you're standing, and that's about it. Right.
We're pretty sure it's hard because he doesn't quite communicate yet, but we're pretty sure he wears himself out by bedtime. He goes to bed earlier than most kids we know. Yeah. So he And he another thing that we noticed early on was like he like squirms and shifts around when he's sleeping a lot, like can't get comfortable,
I
which is
bet.
a little heartbreaking. And then potty training too, and anything like that, not even just the sitting on the potty or whatever, but also he's slow. So getting there in time,
Yeah,
getting
right.
around.
Because our
like
other
that.
child obviously was potty trained like a year and a half ago. And when they go, they're sprinting across the house to
Like,
get
run it, make it,
Me
right?
too. I mean, let's
they
be
wait
for
till
real.
the last minute to go. So it's like it'll be, and some people have said, well, what about those shorter training potties that are closer to the ground? But that comes with issues too. Like, yes, that would accommodate him due to his stature, but he can't bend.
Right.
So actually having one that's taller would be better because he
There's more room to
can't
be more
he
flat.
can't go down to 6 inches off the ground without kneeling. So it's like shorter actually doesn't work in this case.
He can't sit on the ground. He
It's
can't.
like
He
a
can.
puzzle. Yeah.
He either is
Goodness.
on his knees or laying down.
Yeah.
Speaking of your other child, has this been a conversation that's had to come up? Like, hey, listen, he's a little bit different than you are. Has he even noticed?
So I would say ever since we made the TikTok, because everyone wants to send them gifts.
That's true. I
And
bet the other
sometimes-
kid's like, what the?
Yeah,
This is not
so
fair.
Even when I'll like be showing Jesse one of the TikToks or whatever, he'll see it and you can tell there's a little bit of jealousy there.
Sure.
Like this is all of him. Where am I?
Yeah.
But we've been super intentional, I feel like the last 6 months to, hey buddy, you can't roughhouse with him the way that you do your cousins, or you have to be gentle with him on the couch. And almost we haven't had to tell him too many times. I will say that's been a huge blessing. He's very gentle with him, and he's normally like crazy wrestle boy. But even just Bedford can't get up on the couch on his own, and he'll just come up behind him and like toss him up there.
Oh.
And we never asked him, we never taught him how to do that. I just came in one day and I was like, well, you guys figured it out.
Yeah.
But
Link is so good with him. I mean, Link is our older son. He loves his brother, but he also I've picked up already. Like before we really started to talk to Link about it, and Link's not even 4, so it's a little hard. But you could just tell like he was starting to figure out that something was different, And now we've talked to him a little bit about it, and so he knows. He just doesn't know what that all means yet.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
So.
that will make one patient man. He's going to end up being the most loving, patient man.
I actually posted a TikTok last night, which maybe you saw, maybe you didn't, but I put the gifts that they got in front of them and I walked away just to see like if they would, that whole like cookie challenge thing or whatever. Him, Bedford wanted to open them and he told him, no, like we can't do it. And Bedford actually swatted at him, which we're trying to fix that.
Yeah.
And he just looked at him like he didn't get mad. He just looked at him and didn't retaliate.
And held the
didn't say anything. And that's the first time I've caught, because usually he'll say like, Mom,
rat him out.
It's the patience with it. But yeah, I would say like the children that are in close proximity to Bedford, cousins, they're so intentional to make sure that he's accommodated.
I love it.
Without me even saying anything. Like we went and he hung out with his cousins and they had a water balloon fight. Knowing that he can't bend down to pick him up, and his cousins generously like just like run over to him like, here's another one, here's another one. So it's really cool to watch kids kind of step into their generosity, and they're so innocent and they're so loving on their own without having to be told. So I've seen that with his brother and with his cousins and his close friends. So
yeah. I love it. Absolutely. So as we wrap this up, where do you feel like you found the most support or the most information through this journey for people that might be kind of in the same boat as you guys are? I know you'd mentioned Facebook, TikTok.
Facebook honestly was kind of a dead end. I joined a group right off the bat with his specific condition.
Yeah.
And it's like 200 members, but there's like
less than that.
A post a year, and half of them are
wow.
from a foreign language or from another country.
Zero help. Okay.
Zero help. When we had Googled it, the boy that we're going to go see, there was a TLC episode done on him.
Okay.
Had he not gotten that publicity, I don't know that we would have found him as easily, but they have been such a godsend. So I would say that social media really was a very specific tool that has connected us, not even just TikTok. TikTok has opened quite a few doors for us, but specifically with his condition. Like there was one day that we were in a doctor's appointment and Jesse was texting this boy's mom, giving her very specific medicine
like this
names.
is what they're saying.
Have you done this? Have you done this? And she was texting us back in real time.
Wow.
So we could say, no, we don't want to try this one, or we want to try this one. So that was like, and I know not everyone is blessed in that capacity. And I know some people are resistant to social media, and social media can have its downsides, but that has been such a tool to connect us with the right people. Even just connecting with, I've gotten coffee with a few moms, obviously who don't have Bedford's condition, but have a child that has a rare condition, and just the encouragement of like, hey, you're not alone in this. I know what it's like to go to a park and not be able to enjoy the park the way that other kids and other moms get to.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just finding a community in that. I would say that if someone were to get a heavy diagnosis like this, like leaning into community, and like, we don't know how to be an advocate for Bedford because we don't even know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, right.
But being an advocate with him by trying to connect with other people, like people have been such an encouragement.
I think what you said in the beginning was exactly, it's not necessarily advocating for this specific diagnosis or exactly the genetic makeup that he has, but more so just everyone kind of leaning on each other and building a community. And like the playground, you want to be able to go enjoy as well, no matter what the diagnosis or what the situation is. Absolutely. How far away are you guys from the other child that you're going to go meet?
So
like
the
2.5
craziest thing, we're actually not far at all. I mean, it's
going to be a day trip. So
it is. When we found that out, I was just like, man, like,
because
every other person we found is like, this country, that country.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say like India or something.
No, I mean, there are those, but yeah, this one ended up, he is from a further state, but ended up moving one state away a few years ago. I'm not sure when.
Another benefit is one of his surgeons is in that city as well. So it's, should we ever have to cross that bridge, we know who we can tap into.
That's right.
Leading expert in the United States.
Yeah, the leading expert on that. So we're like, what a blessing.
Wow. Absolutely. Man, oh man. Well, thank y'all, Jesse and Holly. Thank you so much for joining us. I know Bedford he's getting a little antsy, but we thank y'all so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Oh gosh, it was such a pleasure. Absolutely. Okay, so what's going to happen? I know my listeners know how this goes. We're going to wrap it up. You can find the video on YouTube at TownsendTmusic YouTube. You can also stream this on any streaming services. Per usual, I'm going to keep chatting with these two. We're going to ask some more personal questions for my patrons only. You can listen to those at patreon.com/TownsendTmusic. That's actually how we keep this entire foundation running, is supporters like you. If not, we'll catch you next time.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this interview, visit patreon.com/TownsendTmusic. And don't forget, you can also watch the interviews on our YouTube channel at TownsendTmusic YouTube.